kote nchini. Mbele tuendelee.
New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care with 5 oils and 5 vitamins. 48-hour nourishment. Helps reduce appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care for your shade of beautiful.
So, hii meeting is it about Alex and Diana?
Naomba uniambie ukweli. What is your relationship with them?
Na mimi siwezi multitask. I can't juggle 2 things at the same time.
But you can juggle 2 women.
I am sorry.
This place seems to be very busy. I can go to another son.
Hi, I'm extremely sorry that we've kept waiting.
Nini mbaya na wewe?
Agnes. Hauoni? Yini Agnes barabara yote kubwa hii. Na bado anigonga mimi alafu anaongesha vibaya.
Pata taarifa teke na e-paper. Stay in the know on the go. Getting the full story bila ngori. To sign up, choose your preferred subscription. Use the promo code SUBZ22 to get 20% off and pay. Get your favorite newspaper and enjoy the truth anywhere, anytime. For inquiries, email epaper@ke.nationmedia.com or call 0790 111 111. Subscribe today and get your taarifa teke.
You asked women empowerment,
business ideas, careers,
fashion,
men's mental health, neno la Mungu,
parenting.
Ni vijana wanaweza pata tudo.
We listened. I'm a bit scared because the rate of divorce is really high.
Marriage is a scam.
It's new, it's fresh, it's your world, your reality.
The bill introduces a licensing regime for ICT operators requiring individuals and organizations to obtain accreditation based on their experience, skills, and technical qualifications. But now we have the University of YouTube. There are people learning by themselves. What does that portend for the person who is self-taught?
You're teaching kids coding at I think CBC, and we've seen all those things. So would you say that for these kids to build software even for their own classwork, they need accreditation from the ICT authority? Some of these things just create a lot of ground for expensive compliance.
We've spent a lot of years building a lot of infrastructure, plugging into, M-Pesa, plugging into banks, MTN Mobile Money, Visa cards, all these kinds of things. And that's why we've decided now to offer this infrastructure that we've built also to other players who are coming in.
Nairobi. Rada yangu ni ku-upskill, ku-reskill, ku-skill. It's making myself marketable, making myself easily paid, making sure I'm in a position to be in rooms where there's opportunity.
Najua tunawapeleka na Rada, there's a bunch of things that's going to be happening on ground ukikam kwa event. Skill Up Africa Expo and Conference 2024 itakuwa KICC 15th and 16th. 1, ukikuja kwa grao, kutakuwa na guidance on your career. 2, kutakuwa na expo, networking sessions. Now because sisi ni ma youth man, we'll definitely have the best in entertainment.
Tuliza pesa lafu one lege, anguka na one lege, anguka na.
all that is happening really soon. We're here to plug you courtesy of Nation FM, NTV, and Nation Media Group.
Anguka nayo kama uko na new.
Are you curious about that dazzling look?
How do you define beauty? And how to dress elegant, glitz, and glamorous. The Glam Show is here to answer all those questions and show you what's popping and what's the latest in the beauty and lifestyle world, because you need it. Look your best and fall in love with Into the Glam.
Get ameniweka huru as your skiza team. Dial star 811 star 931 hash.
Skiza, non-nation. The truth is not governed. The truth governs our beliefs, our faith, the trust we give, the democracy we seek. When held back, it always breaks free. Seek the truth. Set yourself free. Subscribe to read online at epaper.nation.africa. Daily Nation, the truth unfiltered.
NTV, turning on your world.
To you. It's good to see you on this 15th day of July. Can you believe it? We're actually mid-month, literally the middle of the year. So I hope that you've had a better start to the day and to the week. My name is Winnie Lubembe. The show is Your World, and today is a very important day and a very special day to all the young people across the globe. And it's all about the Youth Skills Day. This year, that is 2024. And listen to this. The world faces a multitude of challenges today, many of which affect the youth, from violent conflicts disrupting education and stability to a polarized online environment which foster negativity and a persistent economic inequalities. So these issues threaten not only individuals' future, but also the overall stability of society. So the biggest question that we're asking this morning is, what role do the young people play, and especially when it comes to peace and development? So that is the subject of our conversation this morning on this World Youth Skills Day, that is 2024, and under the theme, Youth skills for peace and development. And of course, what role do the young people play? And again, if you live in this country, you know what the young people have done over the past few weeks. And this is in terms of fostering change. But at the same time, what are some of the challenges that they face, even as they strive to foster change for a better future as far as our country and, I mean, the entire globe is concerned. So it's going to be an amazing conversation this morning. If you are a young person watching us this morning, feel free to engage with us on our socials, and that is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X, and we look forward to hear what you have to say as far as this very important day. But with me in studio, I have from my immediate left, Mr. Japheth Ngeno, who's Assistant Director, Accreditation Services from TVET Authority. Good to have you this morning, sir.
Good to have you.
Thank you so much for your time. And we also have Nelly Karanja, who is an Education Officer. No one out. Good to have you this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to both of you for making the time. Nelly, let me just start with you. Before we talk about the day and you know how important it is for all of us, not just the young people, no one out. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and why this is such an important day as well for you?
Okay, so No One Out is an ungovernmental organization that focuses more on young people, more so the vulnerable youth. So our initiatives target local communities. So we work in the informal settlements to really look at the issues affecting young people and how best we can address them. Yeah, and our key thematic areas are on education, because for us we believe that education is a priority. So access to quality, inclusive education for all is a game changer.
Absolutely,
yes.
Absolutely. And just speaking on the same, on education, again, we know TVET and of course the important role that it plays, but just to, again, help us understand how this day is very important to you as we help, you know, the young people gain the necessary skills that they need, and especially in this day and age. So, you know, how important is this day for TVET?
Okay, thank you very much for that. Today is a very important day for us in TVET sector. Because it is matters youth. We deal with young people. Our role actually is to ensure and assure quality in training of TVETs within the country. And today is when we remind everyone that youth and every person in Kenya have a right to relevant education. And this relevant education is to drive economy to the next level. Thank you.
Absolutely. And again, like I said, in reference to what has been happening in the country, I think right now we all know that the youth really know their rights and understand how that is important to them. But specifically on this day, I mean, the United Nations declared 15th July as the World Youth Skills Day. But can we first of all understand the relevance of this particular day? Why is it important? Why is it that we're celebrating this day that is 15th of July as far as World Youth Day is concerned?
Okay. So this day is very important because we really need to see and understand the vital role that youth play when it comes to issues to do with things concerning them. For example, when you talk about advocacy and creating awareness, youth are very energetic and very creative. So given a chance, they can be able to really mobilize themselves to create awareness on issues that affect them, be it inequality, be it lack of access to education. So on this particular day, they are being given an opportunity to understand what is there and how best they can tap into things like education, talk about TVETs, are they aware of what is there, vocational training centers, skills that they can access and get them and be able to really get the skills and knowledge to have a brighter future. Yeah.
And the biggest question is, and we're talking about skills today and what the young people's role as far as peace and development is concerned, but looking at this times that we are in 2024, what are some of these very important skills that the young people need to have? And we're talking about both soft skills, which is very, very crucial now, and even, you know, some of the relevant skills as far as the different, you know, career spaces. But what are these very important skills that the young people need to have in this day and age?
Thank you. I think the fundamental part of skills development for our youth today is that competency that enables them to live harmoniously with the current technology. You remember that we have an increasing development in artificial intelligence, issues of ChatGPT. We need to interact with ChatGPT so that we don't encounter negative interruptions. So I think the most important skills
are digital literacy skills and the soft skills that enables them to interact with people and the society at large, even the environment.
All right.
Thank
How
you.
are we doing as a country? I mean, would say based on what you have seen, you know, in schools and whatnot, how are we doing as far as ensuring that these young people have these skills, which are very relevant in this day and age?
Okay, if I base Kenya with other countries, I think we are doing far much better.
All right.
And we have done this by introduction of the competency-based education curriculum, which is slightly different from the previous curriculum. Currently, we do a continuous assessment of skills. Unlike before, when we used to train students for maybe 3 years, and then they sit for an exam for 1 week.
And then they have
Nowadays
to
we have a
that.
So we have a different system which enables to bring out the youth with the competency required. Thank you.
I see that. And Nelly, we're talking about peace and development today on this very day. One might ask, so then how do the young people contribute towards peace and development of any given nation? But let's, you know, base our country.
Okay.
Kenya, yeah.
So I think young people can do a lot. Number one, they can be peace agents if they are involved. For example, if we empower young people, they will see the need to really be part of the process and create this peace. We usually see young people, sometimes they're not engaged, they're not given the opportunity, they're not given the space. But then again, if we empower them with the necessary skills and tools, then they will be able to engage in these spaces, they will be able to mobilize themselves and really push for the change that they want to see. Because I always say, be the change that you want to see. But you can only be the change that you want to see if you're given the opportunity and if you're supported in one way or another. Yes.
Okay. So Jafet talked about, of course, digital skills, which are very important. I mean, AI right now, you know, it's here with us, and if anything, getting better by the day. But what are some of these other very necessary skills that the young people need to have in this day and age?
Thank you so much. Like something that No One Out is doing is really collaborating with different institutions, for example, Nairobi City County, because we have a project that we are working closely with vocational training centers. And in these centers, they have incorporated life skills education in their curriculum. So with life skills education, that is where you find things like soft skills, which are very key. For example, you can have technical skills, but if you're not able to communicate, how then are you going to maneuver the job market? So we want to look at things like emotional intelligence. Young people are supposed to be able to process their emotions so that even when you're in a workspace, you understand that you're working as a team. So you don't have anger outbursts at the workplace. So emotional intelligence is key. Also, this life skills education is really important in that you'll be able to solve problems, you'll be able to look at decisions and see how best to solve them. Because without these soft skills, you will find it very hard at the workplace, even in future work. So soft skills are key.
Yeah. Okay. But how much of this do the young people know? I know over time there has been a lot of conversation, especially about our higher learning institutions, where it was more of like theory. We just teach you and then you go out there and then figure your way, you know, around how to maneuver in the job market. But it's good to see what she said earlier, that now you're incorporating not just the theory aspect of the same, but also helping these young people to understand, yes, you need that part, it's very important, the knowledge, but also this other side is very important. But how are the young people responding to this new format of learning? I was about to say teaching, learning.
Yeah, I think it is a very interesting system.
Okay.
And we have seen, since when we established competency-based education and training in TVET, we have seen an increased enrollment in different programs.
Okay.
And surprisingly, the ladies are almost leading in the traditionally difficult areas. So I believe it is student-led, that is trainee-led approach.
Okay.
For example, when we assess the student, we prepare them for assessment.
Okay.
And before we assess also, we ask them whether they are ready to be assessed. That means priority is the readiness of the training.
Okay.
So that is how interesting it is.
Wait, what exactly does that mean? Like, are you ready to be assessed?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. In what aspect?
Okay. When you train the student, you provide all the evidences required to be observed during the assessment.
All right.
And we usually keep what we call portfolio of evidence
All right.
in assessing the CPET program.
Okay.
So there are different versions. We can even let the students go somewhere else, probably in the industry, engaged in some work in the industry, and provide us with some evidence without us, the trainer.
Okay.
So those evidences we collect into a number of them.
Okay.
We professionally call it portfolio of evidence. So by observing this, there are different methods also. There is observation, there is the testing, there is a number of things. So based on that, we get an averagely good judgment for how competent the trainee is. Yes, but before that, we give them prior tool of assessment. They check, first of all, what is required. They make sure they understand.
Okay.
And then before assessing, we do some pre-screening. Are you really ready for the assessment? Once
where were you guys when we were going to school? Because, right? Yeah.
So that is how we do, and,
Yeah.
and it is very, very encouraging to see students liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I mean, yeah, I would like that too. Because when we were in school, nobody asked you whether you were ready to be assessed or not. Whether you were ready or not, that's your problem.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
anything, you should be ready. Okay, what if someone says, no, I'm not ready for, for the assessment?
We accept and we push to another date of assessment.
Really?
Yes.
That is, okay, fine.
Because our assessment is based on, are you competent or not yet competent?
Yeah.
We don't have not competent.
Okay.
It is either competent
or
not yet.
Or not yet. Not competent.
Yeah.
And Nelly, how then do you think this form, sort of like learning and teaching, then informs the kind of the young people we have, and especially the skill set that we have in the job market? How do you think this will make it easier or difficult for the young people?
No, I think it will make, at least they'll see options.
Okay.
Options.
Okay.
Where do you want to go? Which route do you want to take?
Yeah.
Because there are so many things there are so many courses that you can do.
Yeah.
But then again, is it for you, or you're just doing it because others are doing?
Get the certificate.
Get the certificate and put it in your wardrobe, and then it doesn't help you. So I think assessment is key, and I think they're doing well in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I was reading through the United Nations, just understanding the importance of the day and all those things. And one of the things that they said is the world is facing an urgent skills crisis. So I wonder, how are you guys interpreting this statement? Let me begin with you, and then I'll come back to Mr. Japheth. Your interpretation of this statement that the world is facing an urgent skills crisis.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see, a day like today, World Youth Skills Day, it helps us even look at how we can bridge the skills gap.
Okay.
For example, what are the skills that are being taught in the TVETs, in the vocational training centers, and are they matching the labor market? Because we really need to match. Because if we are still training people on skills that I won't get a job after doing the 1 year's course, it really won't help me much. Yeah. So we really need to build that gap of skills, and so that when people are going to a school, they can be able to get skills that when they finish, they'll be able to go to the labor market, get a job. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
How do you interpret this, Mr. Japheth? And also, even during the protests, both on the digital spaces and also physically, because we've seen this in the country, a lot of young people are saying, it's not like we don't understand the role that we young people play in peace and development. It's not like we don't understand. We understand that. We understand our rights, first of all, to education, not just education, but also good quality education. But now, tumetoka huku nje, there are no jobs. And we are asking for these opportunities. And they were saying, you know what, please give us space, okay, so that we can also show you that we are equipped one way or the other in the different fields. So why is this still an issue? The whole aspect about unemployment or not enough jobs for the young people, why is it still an issue? But first of all, just want to hear your interpretation of this statement that we're facing an urgent skills crisis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my interpretation regarding this crisis in terms of global skills required, I can relate to the demographic differences between nations.
Okay. All right.
For example, the first world countries have an aging society. That means there are more old citizens who work than the young people. But in the least and developing countries, the population of young is almost unimaginable. And the opportunities
they make up
are
actually
limited.
like the bigger populations.
At the same time, the first world countries who have the advanced technology, they are also predicting a very complex situation in the near future.
Okay.
Because they believe that the emergence of AI again, or we might have complexity in interacting with machines who might end up being more intelligent than the person. And it could be difficult for non-skilled person too. So the crisis here is we need skills which reflects the future jobs.
Okay.
So the future of jobs is still unknown, but scholars believe that it will be a rough time for non-skilled people to survive.
I mean, even now, lots of people say, you know, AI is here to take our jobs. Others are saying, no, it's here to actually enhance and make things a little bit, you know, easier. So there's, you know, this debate that is still ongoing. But like what you're saying is that we need to prepare for that, because AI is here. Technology is advancing, you know, by the day. So for a non-skilled person, it will be difficult to navigate that space in the future. Okay then, so why is unemployment still a very big issue? Because we have seen TVET's doing a tremendous you know, job when it comes to empowering these young people with the necessary skills that they need for the current labor market, but still unemployment is still a bigger issue. So where is the disconnect?
Yes, one of the reasons that I can relate to why unemployment is there is maybe our manufacturing sector is not really growing as we expected. Although there is a positive trend over the years, especially after the new government focus on the manufacturing sector, we believe that in the near future we will have job opportunities through the manufacturing, because that is what is believed to have assisted the first world countries to grow economies faster.
Okay.
Another thing is we still assume, although we have a good curriculum, we don't
it's
think...
actually one of the best in the...
Yes. But in terms of what we call occupational standards, we have our occupational standards which we use to design our curriculum. So most of them, we develop them locally here, and maybe not much emphasis is used in merging with the global standards. So the direction we are heading to is to bring in the global standards and integrate to our local standards and probably meet the global best in terms of training.
Okay.
So those are the interventions we are currently doing. But we are sure that in the near future also we will have a lot of graduates from our TVET institutions with the skills required. So our worry is where will they go? So that could be another additional crisis.
A bigger challenge in the near future. But just to pick up the same, in terms of the global standards versus what we have in the country, one might ask, so what exactly does it look like? What exactly does the global standard look like when we're talking about the different occupations?
I will use an example to explain that. Recently, we have heard about the need to export skilled labor to United Arab Emirates or some, and then they said they needed 1,000 welders. Then when we proposed to give them welders, they say they don't meet the international certification. So it's like American Welding Society, they certify people after training. So it's like professionalizing that field. So as we have limited opportunities to certify based on international standards. Yes. So those are the things we are thinking of, how to integrate this kind of unique requirements by the workplace outside also to what we train in our institutions. Yes.
I see that. And Nelly, the biggest question is how then do we get there? Okay. Because we've seen a lot of people, yes, they would go, but they will be subjected to training, further training, apart from what they have, for them to feed this global standard. So then how do we get there? What sort of investments need to be put in place to make sure that we achieve this global standard? I'm curious whether we have sort of like timeline on when we'll achieve this, but we'll come back to you. But Nelly, yes, how do we get there?
I actually wanted even to touch on the aspect what he was talking about, because I wanted to come back home and say that most young people want the blue-collar jobs. You know, they don't want self-employment. we really need to create awareness on TVETs, more so even vocational training centers. We have so many vocational training centers in Nairobi County, but the uptake, the enrollment is low. Why? Because young people believe that you have to go to this college, you have to go to this university, then you do the university for 4 years, and you remain jobless maybe for 10 years. So we really need to create awareness on the importance of going to these institutions and also encouraging them to take practical skills, welding, plumbing. Nowadays, plumbers are making more money than even someone who is doing 9 to 5. The problem is there is this negative mindset about some of these institutions, whereby if you don't go to a university and I go to a vocational training center, I'm seen like a lesser being. Yet, money does not know which institution you went, right? So you want to go to that institution. If you can't get blue-collar jobs, you can employ yourself. Self-employment. Start where you are. Because at the end of the day, when you're getting that paycheck, it won't count whether you went to vocational training center, whether you went to Nairobi University, it won't matter. So this entitlement of I have to go to a university, young people really need to change that mindset.
But is it mostly only on the young people? Because you speak to a lot of them, they'll tell you, you know, my parents wanted me to do this. Me, I wanted to do something else. So I wonder whether it's like a generational thing that we need to break. Because for most families, they'll tell you, if you're not a doctor, if you're not a lawyer, if you're not an engineer, then all these other things don't really matter.
It is quite unfortunate, but this is where community engagement comes in. We need to engage the community and show them the importance of letting the young people be. Let someone do what they want so that they can actually benefit from it. There is no need for me to do a degree and the certificate sits there and it helps no one. So if I want to do plumbing, even if I'm a girl or a boy, let me do it. Because I can tell you nowadays we are looking for plumbers like we are looking for doctors, because you can't get, okay, you can get, but you really have to struggle to get a good one. So let's take advantage of these institutions. Let our parents not look at us like failures for going to a vocational training center. Go there, do your 6 months, get out here and make some money, employ yourself as you wait to build yourself further.
If anything, most young people will tell you, me, I don't want 4 years to learn something that I can literally learn on the job in a month's time. So just give me the necessary skills and then let me learn practical skills while on the job. But now it's good that you're saying we're incorporating both, which is important. Nelly, I'm still on you on how then do we get there? What sort of like investments that need to be done, and for us as a country really to get to that global standards quicker? Because it's one thing to say, it's another thing to implement.
We really need to join hands, be it government bodies, international organizations, private sectors, to come together and see how best can we support these young people to get these skills, be it through trainings, be it through partial scholarships, because not everyone is able to access these opportunities. But when we come together, we can mobilize funds and make a step.
Okay, I see that. Mr. Jaffet, do we have like timelines, deadlines, and say by this year?
Actually, let me give you a story about the TVET system itself. How unique it is.
All right. I don't want to rush you through that story because I'm curious to hear it. Can we take a break and then we come back and pick from there?
Okay.
Thank you. All right. But again, like I said, if you are a young person watching us this morning and want to contribute to the conversation, feel free to engage with us on X and on Facebook, and that is at NTV Kenya, and tag me as well at Lubembe_Vini. If you have a story to share, you went maybe to a vocational training and doing well, also share your story so that we can encourage as many young people as we can. But for that, for now, let's take a break. All that is coming up after this short break right here on Your World.
Kuna mbomu
15 pounds.
Nachukua mbomu. Zinakwenda.
Nahitaji diaper.
Kimeumana.
39. 40,000 shillings.
Namba 3.
King Kong.
Na
50,000 Kenya shillings.
Grand, mega.
The bill introduces a licensing regime for ICT operators requiring individuals and organizations to obtain accreditation based on their experience, skills, and technical qualifications. But now we have the University of YouTube. There are people learning by themselves. What does that portend for the person who is self-taught?
We are teaching kids coding at I think CBC, and we've seen all those things. So would you say that for these kids to build software even for their own classwork, they need accreditation from the ICT authority? Some of these things just create a lot of ground for expensive compliance.
We've spent a lot of years building a lot of infrastructure, plugging into, M-Pesa, plugging into banks, MTN mobile money, Visa cards, all these kinds of things. And that's why we've decided now to offer this infrastructure that we've built also to other players who are coming in.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
To get Friday Muslim prayer as your skiza tune, dial *811 *937#.
Skiza, non-nation.
Welcome back, and just in case you're tuning in right now, today, right here on the show, That Is Your World, we are focusing on a very important day for all the young people, and it's all about World Youth Skills Day, and the theme is youth skills for peace and development, and we are interrogating what necessary skills are very relevant in this day and age. And again, we're talking about upskilling a little bit during the break, which again we'll talk about as we continue with the conversation, and why it is important for the young people, first of all, to understand the role that they play as far as peace and development is concerned, the challenges that, yes, they are facing even in the process, but most importantly, what solutions are available for the same. So amazing conversation we're having this morning. We have Nelly Karanja, who's the Education Officer, No One Out, and we also have Mr. Japheth Ngeno, who's Assistant Director, Accreditation Services from Tibet Authority, this morning, helping us with this conversation. So, Mr. Japheth, just to pick from where we left off before we went on a break, he said, let me tell you a story. Let's hear that story, yes.
Okay, what I wanted to say is that for you to know what is required for change to make it better, you need to understand what TVET system is. It entails who and who.
Okay.
Normally, we define TVET system as a model.
Okay.
We call it input, process, and output model.
Okay.
So
all right.
Input, process, output model. So input, we look at who needs the skills. Why do they need the skills? What is missing there?
Okay.
So we look at people like society, the industry, the governments, or even the employers, either local or foreign. Then for us, if we understand what they need, we communicate that need through what we call labor market analysis, which is sector-based.
Okay.
We analyze every sector, what is missing, what do we need to do. That analysis will inform what we call occupational standards development. Now, when it comes to process part, it is what we do in the institutions, in the curriculum offices, in the regulator offices, and many other sectors. For example, we develop curriculum, we implement the curriculum, we assess, we certify. We also recognize prior learning, those who have acquired from elsewhere, not in the institution.
From the institution itself, okay.
And many other things that even quality assurance is part of the process, and many other things. And then in the output is one item, that is the competent workforce that is required outside there.
Okay.
Now, if you see that model, you will realize that there are many players that needs to adjust what they do for us to make it better.
Okay.
And the integration of global standards in whatever we do will make it happen. So you see, we require the industry, we require the private sector, we require our society, we require governments, including county governments, and agencies in between. And then, of course, now we do what you call tracer study. You know, we have to do tracer study of trainees who graduate from this system so that we know where do they go mostly. And we use the same information to make other changes. So almost everyone is involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. And you also need institutions like No One Out.
Yeah, of course.
To still help with the same. But again, still on you and especially when you're talking about skills, skill set and what is necessary. The UN has placed, not like placed, but portrays how important TVETs, are in promoting, first of all, skills, but also ensuring that there's this, aspect of peace and development and the kind of education that is being offered. And I'll come back to you to really then interrogate all those things, because they were saying that TVET can equip youth with the skills required to access work, world of work, including skills for self-employment, which Nelly mentioned as well. And they also say that TVET can also improve responsiveness to changing skill demands by companies, communities, increase productivity, and also increase wage levels. So I'll come back to hear your thoughts on the same. But Nelly, so we said what? Peace and development. Again, this is a theme for this year. But let's look at a scenario where there's no peace and there's no development. How are the young people impacted by this? Because we've seen a number of countries where there's instability, so there's no peace, development is very low. So how are the young people impacted by the fact that there's no peace and there's no development?
Okay, so without peace comes desperation. Without peace, crime rate goes high. Without peace, you feel hopeless. Even if you're learned, you just feel hopeless because there's nothing much you can do in terms of using your potential to move forward. So peace is key, and we really need to put effort towards influencing or giving our youth skills so that they are able to be peace agents and peacemakers. Yes.
I see that. So how well do the young people then understand this, and how have they been supported over the years, and especially here in the country? Again, we've seen just recently with the protests, Mandamano here and there, the young people were actually at the forefront in saying, hey, we demand better because this is our country, this is our future. We're the leaders of tomorrow, although many of them do not want that term. Leaders of tomorrow were the leaders of today.
Yeah.
But then again, when you look on this other side, there's a bit of chaos here and there, and which authorities were very quick to say, hey, listen, you're the ones who are causing this. You're the ones who are causing instability. You're the ones who are causing fear among, business people and all those things. So the biggest question is then, how well do they understand their role in peace and development, but also how can they be supported in their quest for peace and development so that they secure their future?
Okay. Right now we are seeing a lot of technology, uptake of technology, and youth are very good in technology.
Yeah.
So why can't we go where they are?
Okay.
For example, right now, if you want to mobilize youth, you just need to go to X.
Oh, yes.
You need to go to TikTok and they're there with you. That is where they are. So why don't we talk to them in the spaces that they are? And, I'm a former youth. I'm not that old, but at least
you're there.
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, and Gen Z.
Yeah.
But if I hear a conversation where I know they're discussing issues that affect me, I will be at the forefront.
Okay.
And that is how youth are. So if you're able to mobilize them to address issues that affect them, talk about inequality, talk about accountability for our leaders and what they are doing, imagine they'll be there. They just need a listening ear. And that's where you see them. They're very open even in these social media spaces. And actually we can leverage on social media to really push for what we want to see.
Yeah, and also speaking in a language that they understand.
Exactly.
because again, a few years back, there was this notion that the young people don't really understand matters of, national importance, national security, peace, and all those things. They leave that to the authorities, to the government, and to the older generation. But right now, I think they have proven everybody wrong, that, hey, listen, we understand what is happening and we demand it. Yes. And one of the things that they were saying is, don't talk at us, talk to us.
Yes.
So how then do we bridge this, or strengthen communication between the young people, the relevant authorities, the government's institutions as well, so that there's sort of like harmony, so that when we're talking about peace and development, we all speak the same language.
Okay.
Yeah. How do we do that? We could, again, from the educational aspect of the same, how do we do that? And then I'll come back to you, maybe.
Yeah, just the way you have just put it, I also watched their discussion on X.
On X, yeah.
And I observed that if I was to assess them and determine their competencies, I could see that most of them could pass the communication skills competence.
That's good to hear.
Next was that they could win anytime when you assess them on debate competencies. Now, where they fell down was the time when they were using vulgar language, insults. That's when I discovered that maybe if there was a competency called ethical standards, they could not
would
score
fail
that one. So, but this one can be achieved through even the education system. For example, we inculcate our curriculum to include such issues like civic education, so that they don't go beyond the Article 37 of the Constitution.
Yes.
Yeah. We can also bring them on ethical training, more stressful, from the basic level, from primary education. So most of the key competencies that we require to relate with each other usually comes towards the late hours, maybe in the university education or probably TVET, but not at the basic education. In some international basic education system, the how to behave starts from the lower level. By the time you are here, I saw in some country people learn from primary school how to queue. Whether you are in a bus station, whether you're anywhere, there is some order which is inculcated through the earlier system of education. So I believe some of these skills missing can be put from the beginning.
And we can borrow,
we can borrow
from the same.
I
wonder whether that is because we all thought our kids don't understand. Children, just allow them to be children and behave the way they want.
That was a bad assumption.
Right? Because there's a lot of bad manners happening now, but that can be changed. So sort of like do a reversal of the same, start teaching some of these things to the level that they can understand, even from a young age. And I think something that's as please and thank you and sorry that can be given from home, right?
People
you don't have to go to school to be taught how to say, to be polite and to be kind, because we need that sort of like harmony. Nelly, again, still on the same. Mr. Javed said we would fail terribly if there was etiquette. Something. There's a term
etiquette during communication on X.
Exactly. So then how do we achieve that? That yes, we have a lot to say. We are very angry about everything that is happening, but also we can express ourselves in a way that is respectful, but still gets, the things that we want to see change and see that effected. So how then do we build on that?
Okay. I think we should consider incorporating life skills education in our curriculum. It's very important because life skills touches on issues like self-awareness. When you're aware of yourself, you will know I'm not supposed to be insulting people when we are having a conversation. I mean, we are having a conversation to speak on a change we want to see. How does insults coming? They won't change anything. So self-awareness, communication. Then again, we go back to the issue of emotional intelligence. If someone says something that ticks you off, then you want to take a moment and sit back, relax, allow the others to talk as you take that breather and then get back to the conversation. So I think young people just need to a seat on the table and just to be equipped and given the tools necessary to be able to have that conversation.
How then can they be best supported? And especially this is in all levels, whether it's the communities, the county governments, the government and institutions, non-governmental institutions like yourselves, to ensure that these young people have the support that they need, to have that environment to air out, I would say, their grievances. Article 37, that is almost every young person knows that right now. But even as you exercise, you know, your right to picket, to protest, to do all those things, but you also do it in an orderly manner, respectful, you know, manner. How then can they be best supported to get to that level?
Let our education be inclusive, inclusion for all. You know, when we talk about youth, let us not forget the vulnerable youth. Students with disability, they don't have access to education, some of them due to poverty levels. How then, as a government, can we actually include everyone so that we prioritize education, and in that education, the youth will be able to get the necessary tools and skills
that they need. Okay. All right, I see that. So, Mr. Japheth, again, what we said, as far as what the UN says, as far as TVETs are concerned, how then do we ensure that, and when you talk about access, that even the ones who are not able to maybe access, and especially when it comes to like digital spaces, you know, AI, something like that, how are you making sure that everybody is included? Every young person, doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter your social status, doesn't matter your health status, all of them have access to this necessary skills that is needed now. Okay,
like our organization is meant to regulate and coordinate the TVET subsector by ensuring and assuring quality is maintained. So some of the aspirations that we look at is stable or is documented in national education policies. We have the education sector plan, the current one. We have the TVET Act. We have the Constitution. We have many other documents among our member states in the UN. We also have the East Africa Community and AU strategy on TVET. All of them speaks about 4 key areas. We should always endeavor to have initiatives to promote access, equity, relevance in training, and also enhance positive perception of TVET. So all those areas, we have mechanisms of addressing them. For example, in access, government has expanded TVET institutions almost in every ward. There is what we call vocational training center. In every constituency, except a few, around 70, they have a TVET institution. And we have national polytechnics which have been upgraded by government to enhance also capacity to hold more students. And on top of that, there have been some kind of sponsorship to TVET students through capitation. And they have a new model to fund that. So we believe that will increase the access. And we are working together with No One Out in many cases to promote what we call mainstreaming, PWD mainstreaming in TVET. And we have come up together with the standard that guides institution on the same. And we believe in the near future, even our infrastructure are responsive to any kind of PWD.
Very important. Very important. Because sometimes we tend to forget that aspect. But we hope we'll get there soon. Okay, you talked about skills competition that you guys are running in your institution. Can we understand a little bit more on the same?
Okay, skills competition, we normally call it World Skills. World Skills is a name given to this kind of platform. Originally, at the beginning, it used to be called Skills Olympics. So this is a global movement that is used to promote the recognition of skilled young people and to demonstrate how important skills are in economic development. So if I can give you a history about it, this kind of movement started immediately after the World War II. That is when the countries had devastated economies. They also lost competent people during the war. So for them to wake up the economy again or to drive it again faster, they agreed, some countries agreed to have some kind of competition so that they can share the skills. And the first countries to start that was Spain and Portugal, their neighbors. And it grew up to now we have around 89 members. The first countries to join, all of them are currently first world countries. Now, in this platform of World Skills Competition, it's a membership just like Olympics. We have officials, we have competition, we have competitors, we have spectators. But here, the competition is on different skills. You can design a project for welding, and students compete based on international occupational standard.
All right.
That is the top-notch technology in every skill area. Whether it is motor vehicle competition, we use the most latest kind of technology to compete.
Right.
And by doing so, we already expose our trainees to the other peers in the best countries, and we can easily bring them to the global arena in job competition.
Okay.
So Kenya is a full member as from 2020.
Okay.
It's a vigorous process to be a member.
Yeah.
It has to have a political will from the government, and that one we passed through that process in 2020.
All right.
And we became its fourth member to support recognition of young people through competition. Since then, we have done 3 competitions.
Okay.
The first one was a pilot.
Okay.
We did in 3 skill areas. That is here in Kenya. And then we selected the best students from that time. We sent them to World Skills Africa competition in Namibia. And all the students that we sent got a medal.
Nice.
We had a gold medalist in restaurant service. There's a bronze medalist in cooking. And then there was also a second runners-up in mechatronic skill. And to show you that how important competition is, 2 of the competitors got jobs outside the country. One got in the US.
Yeah.
The one who got gold medal got a job in UK, but she turned down because she had other interests to build a business in Kenya.
Do you know, that's actually that is one of the things that I wanted to ask, because you find this very skilled, very talented, very, brilliant people, brilliant minds, brilliant young people who are doing amazing things, very innovative at that, but then they go outside.
It's
so
true.
What happens to
because
to
people
us?
see,
Yeah.
people see, the first world see that this is the skill we want.
That we want.
Yeah.
But what about us as a country? How then do we empower these young people to say, hey, we appreciate your brilliance in this specific area.
Exactly.
But we can also use that because we want to develop, we want to grow as a country, as an economy as well. So then how do we harness this talent and keep them here and appreciate them?
So for our interest is to expose them as much as possible through skills competition.
Absolutely important,
so that they make a decision whether they go there
they
or
want
they come
remain,
out.
to remain.
Then secondly, as I finish about the skills
Sure, yes.
competition,
Yeah.
after our African competition, we did our first national competition here in Kenya last year.
Yeah.
And we chose the best students in some skill areas who will represent Kenya at the global area. That is like Olympics in France is happening.
Yeah.
We will also do competition in France, international competition.
Yeah.
And we have 9 students from TVET and universities.
Yeah.
So we believe we will be selling these ideas over time until we get a big family of World Skills Kenya.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. That's really, really fantastic. But at the same time, appreciate that. Appreciate that you're brilliant, and if other people want to support you for your amazing ideas, why not, right?
Yes.
Also exposing them to and having them compare notes. So in terms of what other countries are doing, what is it that we can borrow, what is it that they can borrow from us, and it's fantastic, okay? But then how do we still harness them? Keep them right here in the country, Nelly. But also, not to say you need to be here. If they feel there will be better placed outside, why not, right? Because again, that's the spirit at the end of the day. But yeah, how do we encourage them to also use their skills here?
I think it's just to create more opportunities for this young person so that they don't feel like their skills are going to waste. So if we have opportunities, then I guess they can be able to stick around. But now if there are no jobs, then this young person chooses just to go somewhere else and utilize that skill.
Yeah. And that's still okay, because again, at the end of the day, it's that aspect of individual growth. How do we then create that environment here as a country? Because even like institutions, businesses as well, we see some of them say, Kenya right now, so they'd rather opt to take their businesses, outside. And that means they're taking, quote unquote, taking away jobs, from the young people here in the country and going somewhere else. So then how do we create that environment where there's harmony, there's peace, but they're also able to thrive, and young people can benefit from the same, and that is getting jobs and all those things?
Yeah, our youth actually, most of them believe that they can't start a very serious industry by themselves.
Yeah.
And
they can't really,
The State Department of TVET has been promoting a policy of creating what we call innovation hubs in different institutions, where they create some industry within what they learn.
Okay.
And students can experience how to start a business.
Yeah.
And probably they exit there by starting their own instead of looking for a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although most of them are capital intensive, but there are those you can start in a small way. And young people should know that starting a business at a young age, you will grow from zero to a very big one. But you can't start from the big one to another big one.
Yeah. They have to start.
Yeah, they have to start from somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see that. And I know no one out. Again, you're very big in promoting sustainable development, opportunities, and this is like through local communities. So then, how do we empower these local communities to understand, first of all, what they have, the potential that they have, and harnessing that potential that they have to contribute really on a larger scale to the development of a country. Yeah.
I like what he's talked about startups. Like, for example, what we do at No One Out is we have something we call cash conditional transfers, where we give young people to either, if you have an ongoing business, to continue with it. But before you do that, of course, there's a process to follow where we bring in the aspect of mentorship. We have financial literacy sessions that encourage you to, to see what to check on, bookkeeping, savings, and all that. So it's all about learning and just giving them that opportunity or that push.
Yes. I see that. Our time is far much spent. We literally have like around 2 minutes or 3 minutes to end the conversation. And what does the future of TVET, first of all, look like? And when you think about like 5, 10 years from now, what is it, where do you want to see our young people at in terms of their levels of skills, but also harnessing their opportunities, and especially when we're talking about the digital space? And I'm just curious about the Jitume project that TVET is running. So do you want to take us through that very briefly?
Okay, briefly. So Jitume is a name which says Kujituma.
Yes.
Just self-driven.
Yeah.
So this is an initiative that was provided by government to promote enablement of young people to enter into digital space. And how they enter into digital space is addressing what we call digital divide.
Okay.
This project brings computer, brings training, brings internet, and ICT resources.
All right.
So if someone doesn't have a computer, the government provides. If someone doesn't have the skill, someone is trained. If someone doesn't have the internet, the government is providing the internet. That if you don't have any of those, you may not enter into the digital space. So Jitume is to bring a complete set of requirements for you to enjoy the digital economy, so that you can transact online, you can look for jobs online, you can do the young people are making money from posting pictures, creating contents. If they don't have the devices, they go to TVET institutions for free in those labs and create a business through digital economy. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, all right. So then what does the future look like as far as TVET
now,
and
yes. I can see TVET is going digital very fast.
Nice. Okay.
And we will be likely to see the students creating business online and probably even working for companies overseas online, and we might not have a lot of protests like the one we are seeing. Okay, we are seeing them behaving well and making money by themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, well, all right. Nelly, as well. What does the future look like, and especially for the young people with what necessary skills? And we also mentioned upskilling during the break, so maybe just say a thing or two as far as upskilling is concerned, and then we'll come back to understand then what are you doing to ensure that the young people are sort of like peace agents. And I'll take that as a parting shot because we literally need to go.
All right, so already we are seeing there's a rapid integration of AI technologies in different various industries. And of course that in terms of future work, it will transform the landscape of work. So I think we need to equip young people with AI skills. We don't need to wait. We already need to uptake it. Matters like robotics, machine learning. I already see some international schools already taking it up because this is the future. And with that, at least our youth will be well equipped to really move with it.
Yes. I see that. And all the very best in everything that you both are doing to ensure that the young people, our young people here in Kenya are somewhere. Global standards is what we're talking about. Okay. So all the very best. There's an activity at KICC, right?
Yes.
Today and tomorrow.
Yes.
As far as the World Youth Skills Days is concerned. So again, if you are a young person, maybe find yourself at KICC and see what exactly is happening over there. You might run into Mr. Japheth and Nelly over there and get to learn a lot. But thank you so much for your time.
And it's free
this
entry.
morning. It's free entry. Yes, yeah.
So come.
Okay. Basically said, come. No excuse. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and thank you as well for staying with us as well until the end of the show. Hope that you've learned a lot from today's conversation. As a young person, you have a lot as far as, you know, a role to play when it comes to peace and development. So take advantage of the same, and let's see a better future for ourselves. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Enjoy the rest of your viewing, and see you soon right here on Your World. Stay safe.
Thank you.
To get Dance With Me as your skiza tune, dial *811 *925 #.
Skiza na Nation.
NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated GE. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.